So with old Mark Sanchez, are we getting Aaron Hernandez meets Mike Piazza vibes? Are we? Are we thinking about Teo? Are we thinking about some people who in college who get protected and complexion for protection and the real them comes out and they're professional? Is that what we're getting? The whole thing with him was crazy. You get stabbed and then you get locked up because you assaulting. And it's kind of like, but he was a pompous cat. He had access to whatever he had in SC. So he was almost like a golden boy type. And this ain't supposed to happen to you usually. But how does this happen? Especially in a conservative place like Indianapolis. Like, what were you doing out there? Then you got to kind of wonder, well, is this kind of like an Aaron Hernandez thing? And I'm not talking about the CDC thing. I'm talking about just the nature. Because he did have some allegations when he was in college about certain things that he did. You can look it up. And then you get to this situation. And then, of course, he's Mr. MAGA and and all that. So is that like a Mike Piazza smoke screen? Like you fall into a tradition and that you have expectations that you're going to expect to have this one or you want to have this thing or that thing. So you got to kind of wonder some of the, and that's not saying, but cats get real defensive. You've seen it before with how some of these athletes, they've had access and privilege. And then when they get caught up on something, the whole public PR thing, the facade has been covered. And will the major outlets talk about it? Will Stephen A. Smith or Fox and them go at it? Usually they don't. Usually they don't. But if he was black, 10 toes up to 10 toes down and 10 stairs up a flight of stairs, he's front page news and his mugshot and everything's going around. Yeah, he'd probably get fired, but it'll be a low key thing. But somebody knew about his personality. These cats don't just one day fall off the deep rail or go off or defend this or defend that without there have been a trail. So it's a lot of it's more common. A lot of stuff gets covered. Like I talk about all the time with the NBA, with Adam Silver, and I used to say about David Stern, and I'm sure with Roger Goodell, all of them. They know it's the files that they got are just almost as long as the Epstein, but that's another story. But they never get released either. We see athletes you root and cheer for, and they play for your favorite teams or something like that. However, the real them and the PR them is two different thems. So we really don't know how these cats roll, but we get the facade and we get the Hollywood version. And then believe me, a lot of people don't want to ever hear it about athletes because they seem to think that athletes aren't part of entertainers, but they are. And there is a PR side. I've said this before, and I'll say this again. That's why I've had a low thing with the NBA with David Stern and Adam Silver. Because they did a good enough job of whiting out and hiding a lot of things about athletes. You'd be surprised. Because the NFL did it too. They've done it with who they choose, who they elect, how they go about stuff. They all do it. It's just part of show business. It's all lowering. But you see this image on TV and you just don't know. And when they go off or something happens, you're like, oh, but you got to understand the signs were there. It's just that, especially when you're a quarterback and you're a quarterback in SC and you had all the women throwing themselves at you, all that money, all that notoriety, and you had an all right NFL career. Did, 2 AFC championship games, but that butt fumble with Vince Wilfork, that's what you're last known for. But you had some flags come up, and I'm not talking about referee flags, but it's interesting. Does he put you in the frame of mind of those guys defending something or something? So let me know your thoughts and your takes. Please like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share the video if you like. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'm on one time. Peace.